Our human history has been twisted, lied, and warped for centuries. Get the info at http://myflute.webs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mark Float broadcast. In the previous episodes, we've talked about everything connected. Well, that is the true. I mean, for people that know about Pleiadians and Arcturians, it's not an extraterrestrial, it's not interdimensional, it's multidimensional, just like you are. It is connected to you. The universe is connected to you. Everything is connected. Okay, so you can't really stop to say that this don't exist, that don't exist. Everything is connected. It's an understanding that you gain the wisdom. Really understanding. What I'm going to put out there today is a lot of information, and it shows that the awakening process that is happening. And I'm going to tell you again, there's a lot of people on the internet knowing about Pleiadians, knowing about what's going on, knowing about the programming that's been going on, but the connecting the dots comes from your soul, comes from your own mind. It comes from your understanding and how your perception is. You have the ability to change anything by the perception and the thoughts, and moving through the thoughts and changing the direction of the outcome. Anyways, let's get to this. This is one of the best things there is, and I think it's a lot of information. I'll leave the link in the end so you can go there yourself and check out the whole thing. It is a proof that reality, that the waking up has already come. It is already happening. The energy is there. It's just a matter of grasping it, grasping the knowledge. It's like the people that in the beginning from the 70s that were doing the opposite, disobeying the rules, doing whatever they wanted, doing this, doing that. They were the ones that were ahead of the curve because they weren't able to be controlled. They weren't able to be programmed. I know. I was one of them. You can't be programmed because you're not going to do what society dictates. You're not going to do what somebody says. And you're not embarrassed either. You never get embarrassed. You're going to do the same thing. Because if I had to do life over, I'd do the same damn thing over and over and over and over again. Because it was meant to be the way it's supposed to be. Changing the direction of the faulty thoughts. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people coming out. There's a lot of people, and it's hitting to the point where it's going to hit critical mass. And you can't catch it. That's your problem, not anybody else's. But it's just reality, because it's an awakening that's coming from the conscious heart. And everybody's moving up the path and joining the collective. So let's go to this information and see what you think about it.
everything is code. Everything is code in the sense that hackers mean when they say they write code. This realization that everything is code, and code moving on many levels, is more primary than the perception, for example, that things are made of space, time, matter, and energy. That's one level below code. The code codes for space, time, matter, and energy. It's much more like we're in a simulacrum, some kind of machine environment. And in fact, I like that idea because I've always sensed that the universe is a puzzle. Life is a problem to be solved. It's a conundrum. It's not what it appears to be. There are doors. There are locks and keys. There are levels. And if you get it right, somehow it will give way to something extremely unexpected.
Your social programming basically is an imprint. Instead of saying good or bad, it's basically which perception do you lean towards. If you lean towards a bad decision, then you end up with a bad perception. If you lean toward a good, then you end up with a good perception. This is all the social. And there's another where you interact without expecting either one. And then you wait for the perception of the world to come to you instead of your perception going to the world and interfering with the process of your path.
Everything that I have decided and defined about myself personally and everything outside of me is a story. It's a total story. And in my brain, there is a neural racetrack that has been formatted using this code that I wrote the story of Mark, the little I in. I wrote that story of me and defined everything internal and external, and then, had that running for about 30 years. And until I evaluate the truth of that story, my experiences are going to be dictated by that story. And wherever I go, I take the expansiveness or restrictiveness of my story into that situation, whether it's a personal relationship, a business endeavor, a doctor's appointment, going into the convenience store to get some milk, whatever. I take my story with me.
If someone's socially bound, then they bring in this social program to fortify who they are. If imprinting's not happening, then it stays on the level of your feeling, and you witness it, and then you reflect back through your voice, through how you speak. Instead of thinking what you're going to say, you know what you're going to say. There's a big difference. It's not a script. If somebody comes into the room and their chakras or their energy centers are spinning in a way which is disruptive, I'll feel that in my body. So that's my body consciousness. So you may be presented with a pressure in your body and you represent that pressure. If just say that I'm fully a socialized being, then I'll integrate with the social factor that comes into the room through the person and be totally unaware of the spinning factors that are in my energy field. So there's a big difference between body consciousness and social interaction.
Just as the mind works by defining forms, geometries, structures, tree, rock, leaf, sky, earth, each one of those forms, each one of those ideas is like a shape that is in light inside of our consciousness. Our mind functions as like an electromagnetic field, right? We see brain waves pulsing through and moving through the brain. But there's actually standing wave field interactions that are occurring. Literally holographic three-dimensional projections of ideas that are contained within our energy field. As we come to know the sources of each holographic projection, each one of the fractal elements of our experience of the whole universe that is actually contained within our own individual small energy field, we gain a language of engaging with all of those projections. As we come to understand our relationship with the universe through experiences, we realize that there are codes behind experiences themselves. There are literally root geometries and root structures of just pure color and light energy and form that actually inside them can contain huge libraries of experience. In other words, you might just see a six-pointed star, but that six-pointed star can transmit to you a huge library of emotional experience that you may have had. We may just see a geometry pop into our mind, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's this whole stream of consciousness and knowledge and understanding that comes with it, like a sigil. It becomes recognized as a language when we start to create things or start to transmit ideas using those projections that we have inside of our consciousness. The ability for us to focus on a single clear idea and hold that single clear idea and detail that single clear idea becomes literally our capacity level to manifest something very, very, very specifically. The more clearly you can see the house that you want in your mind, and the more detailed all of its elements, the more of those details will actually come into the manifestation when you make it happen.
When I say I don't want to have money problems anymore, what kind of picture do I make in my mind? Me having what? Money problems, which is going to microdose my energy with whatever vibration I consider having a money problem to be, which is going to help me manifest more what? More money problems. For everybody out there who knows what a vision board is, how many people that have made a vision board have put what they don't want on their vision board? I'm still waiting to meet somebody. You know, and I ask people. I ask people in sessions. I ask people in group sessions. Raise your hand if you've ever put some of what you don't want on your vision board. Everybody looks at me like I'm insane. And I want that, because I'm going to ask the next question is, why would you do that on your internal vision board? And to make it exponentially more potent, when I say I don't want to have money problems anymore, and 36 people hear me say that at one point in time or throughout the day, then those people have made 36 pictures of me with money problems. And when I realized that I am at all times enlisting people in my life to help me generate more of what I want or more of what I don't want based on how I speak, I got dedicated. I lived in a community that revolved around a fasting and detox facility. I worked there, and there were fantastic thinkers, great motivational individuals coming through with all kinds of gadgets and gizmos and detoxes and ways of healing this thing and that thing and the other thing. And one thing that I saw that always delivered the goods at a very high level was living in truth. Okay, well, great. Well, how do I speak that way? Do I want to speak about, what my dad didn't do? Is that being truthful? What he didn't do? Why would I make pictures of what my dad didn't do and then piss myself off about it and then blame him? Same thing goes for a kid. Don't fall down and hurt your knee. Or don't talk back to me. Don't be late for school. And every time I say that, they're going to make a picture of them being late for school. And so did I, and I irritate myself.